Today's lecture we are going to calculate the equation for basic static load capacity of a bearing. Okay. Basic static load means how much static load a bearing can take. Okay. So if you look at the definition of it, the load carried by a non-rotating bearing, okay, as here it is mentioned static. Okay, static means no movement will be there. Okay, so load carried by a non-rotating bearing means when machine is in stationary condition. Okay, the basic static load rating is defined as the static radial load in case of radial ball bearing or axial load in case of axial ball bearing, which corresponds to a total permanent deformation of ball and inner race at most heavily stressed contact equal to 0.0001 times the ball diameter. Means आज बॉल बेरिंग છે તે રેડિયલ બॉल બેરિંગ હોય તો રેડિયલ લોડ કન્સિડર કરવાનો રહેશે અને એક્સિયલ બॉल બેરિંગ હોય then you have to consider only axial load. Okay. Means the radial load corresponding to deformation of this ball or race by 0.0001 times the diameter of ball. Okay, આ diameter છે બોલના diameterમાં એના corresponding to 0.0001 times the diameter જેટલું deflection થાય. Okay, so ત્યાં સુધીની capacity, that is basic static load capacity. Okay. The basic static radial load rating C0, it will be denoted by C0, is used when the bearings rotate at very slow speed. બેરિંગ જો ખૂબ ઓછી સ્પીડથી ફરતું હશે ત્યારે પણ કન્સિડર કરવામાં આવી શકે છે. or bearings are subjected to very slow oscillation or stationary load. Okay. It also must be considered when heavy shock loads of short duration act on a rotating bearing. Okay, means જ્યારે આપણું બેરિંગ રોટેટ થતું હોય અને ત્યારે કોઈ પર્ટિક્યુલર મોમેન્ટ પર શોક લોડ આવી જતા હોય, ઓકે, ત્યારે પણ આપણે આ બેઝિક સ્ટેટિક લોડ કેપેસિટી છે તેનો યુઝ કરી શકીએ છીએ. ઓકે, ઓલ્ધો ઇટ ઇઝ રિટન હિયર સ્ટેટિક, જો સ્પીડ ઓછી હોય ત્યારે પણ આપણે એને કન્સિડર કરી શકીએ છીએ. ઓકે, સો બેઝિકલી બેઝિક સ્ટેટિક લોડ રેટિંગ કેપેસિટી મીન્સ બેરિંગ જ્યારે સ્ટેશનરી કન્ડિશનમાં હોય ત્યારે મેક્સિમમ કેટલો લોડ સપોર્ટ કરી શકે છે without deforming more than this 0.01 times diameter. Okay, so the C0 value of C0, or you can say equation for basic static load capacity, is derived using Stiebeck's equation. Okay, so we will derive the equation given by Stiebeck. So in deriving the equation there are several assumptions. First, the races are rigid and retain their shape. Means this inner race and outer race જે છે they are rigid body. હવે rigid body નો meaning they cannot deform. Okay, so આ outer race અને inner race છે they are rigid body. So આમાં જે બચેલા એલિમેન્ટ છે balls, આ balls છે તે deformed હશે because inner and outer races are rigid. Next, the balls are evenly spaced around the periphery of the inner race. The balls they are evenly spaced around the periphery. Third, the balls in the upper half of the bearing do not support any load. Okay, means bearing ની જે upper half છે, હા, half portion ની ઉપરના જે પણ bearing છે આ they do not support any load. Okay, which is true because આપણે શું ડિરાઈવ કરીએ છીએ સ્ટેટિક લોડ કેપેસિટી. ઓકે, સો સ્ટેટિક મીન્સ મશીન સ્ટેશનરી હશે તો જે પણ લોડ હશે તે ગ્રેવિટીના લીધે ડાઉનવર્ડ ડાયરેક્શનમાં જ લાગતું હશે. ઓકે, સો આ જે બેરિંગ્સ છે, ઓકે, જે હાફની નીચેના છે બેરિંગ સેન્ટરથી નીચેના, they will support the load. Okay, so that is this third assumption. So let's consider half portion of the bearing or half of the balls in the bearing. These are the axes passing through the center of this ball and center of bearing. આ બધી જ axis છે, they are passing from center of the ball and center of this bearing, and these balls are evenly spaced. Okay, આ બંને વચ્ચે બધા balls વચ્ચે equal space હશે, so they will be distributed with equal angles. આ જે બે axis છે અથવા તો બે balls છે તેની axis વચ્ચેનો angle છે તે બીટા હશે દરેક for every two balls. Okay, C0 is the static load acting on the bearing, and P1, P2, P3, these are the loads acting on each and every ball. Okay, આ જે C0 જેટલો સ્ટેટિક લોડ છે તે હું બેરિંગ પર અપ્લાય કરીશ, then this ball will support P1 amount of load, this ball will support P2 amount of load, this ball will P3, and so on. Okay, so if we want to find the C0 from this figure, then what should we do? We'll do simply summation of forces in vertical direction is equal to 0. Okay, so C0 છે તે downward direction માં છે, so C0 will be equal to P1 plus આ જે P2 છે તેનો આપણે વર્ટિકલ કમ્પોનન્ટ કન્સિડર કરવો પડશે, that is P2 cos beta. Okay, now here is also P2, this is P2 cos beta. Okay, and same load P2 છે તે opposite direction પર પણ છે. Okay, so it will be 2 times, okay, plus we need to consider the vertical component of this force P3. Okay, so P3 cos, now angle કયો લેવાનો? vertical સાથેનો. Okay, so we will consider 2 beta, beta plus beta, that is 2 beta, because we are considering vertical component. Okay, so vertical અને આની જે axis છે P3 ની તેની વચ્ચેનો એંગલ કન્સિડર કરવાનો રહેશે, તો that is 2 beta. This is again replica છે આ સાઈડ પર, so it will be multiplied by 2 plus so on. Okay, એટલે જેટલા પણ બેરિંગ્સ હશે તે બધા કેટલો લોડ લે છે તેનું સમેશન કરવાનું રહેશે. This is how we will find the value of C0. Okay, so for simplicity I have shown here inner race as a simple line because આપણે ખબર છે કે એ રિજિડ બોડી જ છે. Okay, and now we will consider zoom portion of this much amount. Okay, આ જે પોર્શન છે તેને આપણે ઝૂમ કરીએ તો it will look like this. This is the inner race, this is the outer race, and these are the balls. Okay, so we know that inner race પર જ્યારે લોડ આવશે તો inner race છે તે ડિફ્લેક્ટ હશે, sorry, displaced હશે, not deflect, displaced હશે. Okay, you can see inner race is displacing by amount delta 1 in vertical direction. Okay, and આપને ખ્યાલ છે કે આ જે inner race છે that is a rigid body. Okay, so આ inner race ની ઉપર જેટલા પણ points હશે, કોઈ પણ point inner race ની ઉપર, so it will be displaced by same amount in vertical direction. Okay, તમે જોઈ શકો છો કે બધા જ બોલ પાસે જે ડિસ્પ્લેસમેન્ટ બતાવેલું છે that is delta 1 છે વર્ટિકલ ડાયરેક્શનમાં. ઓકે, સો ઇનર રેસ ડિસ્પ્લેસ થાય છે અને આઉટર રેસ છે તે પણ આપણે ખ્યાલ છે કે રિજિડ બોડી છે. ઓકે, સો એ પણ ડિફોર્મ નહીં થઈ શકે. સો બોલ્સ આર ડિફોર્મિંગ by amount delta 1 in vertical direction. All balls are deforming by amount delta 1 in vertical direction. So if we consider the deflection of balls in the direction of its axis, then આ જે ફર્સ્ટ બોલ છે સેન્ટરમાં તેનું રિફ્લેક્શન કેટલું હશે? delta 1 જેટલું જ હશે in the direction of its axis. If we consider this second ball, then the deflection of the ball in axis direction is delta 2. ઓકે, વર્ટિકલ ડાયરેક્શનમાં ડેલ્ટા 1 જ છે, પણ જે આ એક્સિસ છે તેની ડાયરેક્શનમાં ડેલ્ટા 2 જેટલું ડિફ્લેક્શન હશે. સિમિલરલી આ થર્ડ બોલ આપણે કન્સિડર કરીએ, દેન વર્ટિકલ ડાયરેક્શનમાં તો ડેલ્ટા 1 જ છે, પણ એક્સિયલ ડાયરેક્શનમાં ડેલ્ટા 3 જેટલું ડિફ્લેક્શન હશે. આ સિમિલર ડિફ્લેક્શન આ અપોઝિટ સાઇડ પર પણ દેખાશે, અહીંયા ડેલ્ટા 3 અને અહીંયા ડેલ્ટા 2. ઓકે, સો નાવ વી વિલ derive the equation by making relation between these deflections. Okay, so in the presentation we have seen that these balls are deformed by the deflection of these inner rays by the amount delta 1. Now as we have assumed that this inner rays is a rigid body, okay, so all the points on the inner rays will be displaced by the same amount in vertical direction, that is delta 1 for every ball. Okay, and this angle between two balls is beta. Okay, so angle between this ball and this ball is beta. Angle between this ball and this ball will be beta plus beta is equal to twice beta. Now as all balls move down by the same distance delta 1, and we know the angle between this vertical and this axis of this ball, this is beta, this is 2 beta. Okay, so actual deformation of this ball will be delta 2, and actual deformation of this ball in the direction of its axis is delta 3. Okay, so if we find the relation between delta 2 and delta 1, then we get delta 2 by delta 1 is equal to cos beta. So we can write delta 2 is equal to delta 1 times cos beta. So similarly we can write relation between delta 3 and delta 1. Delta 3 by delta 1 is equal to cos 2 beta. Okay, because the angle between this vertical and this axis is 2 times beta. Okay, this angle of this axis is twice beta, so this angle will be 2 beta. Okay, so we can write delta 3 is equal to delta 1 times cos 2 beta. Okay, now as per Hertz contact stress theory, if we find the relation between deflection of the ball and the load acting on that ball, then according to Hertz contact stress theory, Hertzian theory of contact stress, we find that deflection of a ball is proportional to P raised to 2 by 3. Okay, this P is load acting on that ball. Okay, so for our case we can write that delta 1 is proportional to load acting on this first ball, that is P1 load was acting over here, so P1 raised to 2 by 3. Delta 2 deflection of this load acting on this was P2. Okay, so delta 2 is proportional to P2 raised to 2 by 3, and similarly delta 3 is proportional to P3 raised to 2 by 3. Here P3 load was acting. Okay, so now if we combine these equations with these two equations, let me name these equations 1, 2 and 3. So if we combine this equation, then we get delta 2 by delta 1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to 2 by 3, okay, which is equal to cos beta. If we see over here, delta 2 by delta 1 is cos beta. Okay, so now if we consider these two terms, then we can write that P2 is equal to P1 into cos beta raised to 3 by 2. Okay, I'll give this equation number 4. Similarly, if we find the relation between delta 3 and delta 1, then it comes out P3 by P1 raised to 2 by 3 is equal to cos 2 beta from this relation. Okay, so we can write that P3 is equal to P1 into cos 2 beta raised to 3 by 2. This is equation number 5. Okay, so if we continue doing this thing for number of balls present over here, then we can write that C0, that is static load capacity, is equal to P1 plus 2 times P1 cos beta raised to 5 by 2 plus 2 P1 cos 2 beta raised to 5 by 2 is equal to P1. We are taking P1 as common, then inside term we are calling it with M. So C0 is equal to P1 M. Now why I have considered here 2? Because here balls are symmetric. P1 load is single, then P2 load is over here as well as over here also. Okay, and why it is converted into 5 by 2? Okay, so if we look it over here, P2 is in this direction. We are taking vertical component of P2. Okay, so if you call vertical component of P2, then it will be P2 into cos beta. Okay, this P2 cos beta multiply by this, we can get P1 cos beta raised to 3 by 2 multiply by cos beta. Okay, P2 cos beta. Okay, if I substitute the value of P2, then it will be P1 cos beta raised to 3 by 2 into cos beta. So if you simplify this, then this will be converted as cos beta raised to 5 by 2. Okay, and two forces symmetrically. Okay, that is why we are multiplying it with 2. Okay, so this is how cos beta raised to 5 by 2 come over here. Okay, and we are simplifying this as C0 is equal to P1 into M, where capital M is equal to 1 plus 2 cos beta raised to 5 by 2 plus 2 cos 2 beta raised to 5 by 2 and so on. This series will continue according to number of balls. Now if we consider there are Z number of balls in the bearing. Okay, if we consider Z number of balls in this bearing, then beta will be 360 degree by Z. Then beta will be equal to 360 by Z. 360 degree angle ને આપણે number of balls વડે divide કરીશું, then we can find the angle between two balls, that is beta. So beta is equal to 360 divided by Z. Okay, so you can see over here beta is equal to 360 degree divided by Z. Okay, now the value of M and the ratio of Z by M is given in the table. Okay, so here Z is equal to first number of balls 8, then 10, then 12, 14 and 16. So if number of balls are 8, then if you divide 360 divided by 8, then it will be 45 degrees. So beta is equal to 45 degrees. Beta means angle between these two balls will be 45 degree if number of balls in the bearing are 8. So if you calculate this value of m by substituting beta is equal to 45 degree, then you will get m is equal to 1.841 and the ratio of z by m is 4.346. Likewise, you can calculate the value of m and z by m for these 10 balls, 12, 14 and 16 number of balls. So if you look at the value of z by m, okay, it is not much changing. Okay, a little bit change is there. Okay. So if you look this thing on a graph of z versus m and z by m, then if you look at the graph of m, it is increasing. But if you look at the z by m graph, then it is not much deflecting. Okay, you can consider it approximately straight line. Okay, so generally the number of balls in the bearing vary from 8 to 16. 8 થી 16 ની વચ્ચે વેરી થતા હોય છે number of balls. Okay, so it is observed that the value of z by m in this range, 8 થી 16 ball ની વચ્ચે તમે જો z by m ની value લો, then it is approximately constant and equal to 5. Okay, we can assume this approximate value of z by m is equal to 5 for the bearing range of 8 to 16. Okay, so z by m આપણે assume કરીએ છીએ 5. So if you find the value of m over here, m is equal to z by 5. So now if you just substitute the value of m over here, we know that basic static load carrying capacity is C0 is equal to P1 into m. Okay, just substitute m is equal to z by 5 in this equation. So we get C0 is equal to P1 into z divided by 5. Okay, now according to Hertz contact stress theory, the relation between P means load acting on the rolling element of bearing or ball of the bearing, then P1 is equal to K into D square, where D is the diameter of ball. આ જે ball છે તેનો diameter છે small d. Okay, so P1 is equal to K times D square, where K is a constant which depends on radius of curvature and the modulus of elasticity of ball. આ જે ball છે તેની radius of curvature and modulus of elasticity શું છે તેની ઉપર depend કરે છે value of K. Okay, so if you substitute the value of P1 in this equation, then you get C0 is equal to K into D square into Z by 5. Okay, and this equation is called as Stiebeck's equation. Okay, so this is how this relation comes out.